I really should have just done the unboxing videos first and then the Steelbook video. But what are you gonna do? Welcome back, everyone. So, today I wanted to talk about this Link's Awakening Collector's Edition, only in, the EU, right? I believe I got this ported from the UK, and the reason I got this was because, when I was younger, Link's Awakening was actually the first Game Boy game I played. In the school I was in, they had a Game Boy for, recess and stuff like that. And overall, it was a cute little title. Someone had the sword and the bomb at one point. And, I just played it. I liked it. The one thing that really stopped me from playing this completely on the Switch was actually the frame rate issues in the beginning of the game, because I knew that, in my heart of hearts, the Switch was going to be backwards compatible with older Switch games, and I'm hoping the extra CPU usage really shows that, hey, this can do the thing that you want it to do, it just needs the manpower. Now, Tears of the Kingdom came out, though, and I really got no excuse for it. I don't know why this game runs the way it does. As someone who has studied this kind of stuff, it really just doesn't make much sense how it wasn't optimized to the best of its capability, and wasn't patched out, or anything, really. But then again, they didn't want this to be the first $70 Nintendo game. Could you imagine a Game Boy remake being the first $70 Nintendo game? What is wrong with the industry, by the way, with all those prices? I don't know. But let's take a look at the box art. Honestly, it's like some of the best artwork we've had from Zelda in a while, especially a 2D Zelda, right? And you look at the back, it just tells you what it comes with. The game, the steelbook, and the art book. And that's mainly what we're going to be looking at today is the art book, because, everyone has access to the cover, So it's nothing crazy, right? But I will say, it's well done. I like the trees, I like, little snippets of the game. I will say this was not one of my go-to Zelda games as a kid, the Link's Awakening or the DX version, just because I had a Game Boy Advance SP, and there were a lot of other games at the time that caught my interest. Yes, Codename Kid was one of them, don't ask why. Anyway, let's take a look at it. I think, it's something that's worth talking about, and, yep, that's, that right there, having, the steelbook in one and the game in the other, it's cute. And then you have, the windfish also, not to mention. This is, art that not many people actually get to see, which is kind of nice, because, let's face it, doing this kind of art, it takes time. I actually appreciate this art a lot when it comes to gaming as a whole, and again, this is a cute little desktop background or something like that. If, someone wants to take a screen grab of it, or, take a screen grab of, this little island piece right there. I think it's got a few scuffs, but you know what? Hey, it works, right? I'm sure you could find it online, though. Nintendo's usually pretty good about posting their high-res images. But let's look at the art book, right? That's what we're really here for. And I will say, this is just going to go in the art book collection. Because eventually I'm hopefully going to preserve all of these digitally. I don't have a digital scanner or know a company that does it, but you know what? If they want to sponsor me eventually, I would be down for that. The anime in this game, that opening really sold me though on why this was a really good remake. And look at that. Look at that. Link's all washed up on shore, and it's beautiful. It really is beautiful. And then, oh, look, we got, a little chapter 1 with the violin, and oh my gosh, he's adorable. So, for this, it was very interesting, because they had the chibi side of it, and then they had the sort of, anime side. But, these little, I want to say promos? Production kind of art renders. I forget what they're called. But, point in case, these little production art renders are super cute. Not many people actually get to see, this is the final production render they chose, and then they edited from there. Same with swords and shields and stuff like that, and how they wanted to do things. Having him with the ocarina was, so cute. There's no pictures with him in the Master Sword, but I think, the Hylian shield is obviously here. It's just... Look at that. That looks like it could be on a clay diorama. right? Like, if someone made this out of a clay diorama, I'd buy it. It's cute, it's lovely, and you know what? These are, what was it? Made Village sketches, right? Yeah. Oh, it says it right there. Yeah, and honestly, it's just, I wish people got to see this more. I wish people got to see things like this more. You wouldn't actually get to see it unless you had a video like this where someone talks about the collector's edition, so on and so forth. And it's cute how they have an anime version for this, and then they chibiized it. Marin and Link, it's like the cutest little ship, but unfortunately it was never meant to be. Oh, man. What are you gonna do? Look at all these, like, the little phone hut. These are things that really make me appreciate game design as a whole, just because it's a process. Game design is a long process that people don't fully appreciate as much, and as someone who solo developed a game, or not solo developed, developed a game with 2 other people, it was difficult, right? We had X amount of time to do it, and you know what, it's just, that's why the gaming industry is hard. It's not so much an art form anymore, and I kind of don't like that. I really don't understand what translated so poorly when it came to it, but, you know, that's life. Anything you can make money off of, hey, what are you gonna do? You know what, it's funny to see the witch and just everything else, like, you know, before and final, you know, or the sketches themselves. Like, this is just, you know, like, these are just sketches. Like, you can tell, like, these aren't 3D renders or anything like that. This is the original game, but then they're like, okay, cool, how do we just, we'll just sketch it out, and then we'll make it into, like, a, you know, the 3D portion of it. It really encompasses a lot of time, energy, and effort into making things like this. Now, do I recommend anyone solo deving? No, but there are a lot of great solo devs out there. I think there's one that I saw the other day who's working on something in, like, Unreal Engine 4 and has been for a while. And, you know, since Unreal Engine 4 is kind of dead, he has to do a lot of, you know, solo dev work himself, which is very, very difficult. I'm trying to move the light so that it doesn't shine too much. There we go. I will say, it's not fun, it's not easy, but, you know, if you make the connections, people can really make something wonderful. I'm eventually I have one book I'm writing, and then I'm gonna, you know, make another one, and I'm gonna be using that as my game pitch. I'll go to GDC, and I'm gonna make that as my game pitch. No joke. But in any case, let's see here. Oh, he's a lovely little fellow. Look at him. Isn't he adorable? He's so cute. But yeah, I like how they also have the, you know, the musical instruments, right? And they separate them by chapters, you know, and this is proper orthographics, right? I guess you have a corner turn, front turn, side turn. There's no back, but I mean, there's back right there, but like, you get the idea. I love how they translated it, right? It was a process to get here. They had to start here, which is, it's interesting, right? Like, because, like, they took the extra step because they weren't going to animate. They weren't making a whole anime. Maybe that was planned, but they didn't, right? It would be a cute little anime if they did it, though. I would see it being like a 12-episode kind of thing, you know, or like, you know, like 2 episodes for prologue, you know, and then like 7 episodes for the, oh god, like getting the mythical instruments, right? And then you'd have like another like 1 or 2 episodes for, you know, the goodbyes, and then him getting back to Hyrule, right? Like, that would be a great little anime. They could really reuse these designs, and I think it'd be interesting. Now, this is also one of the heftiest art books, too. Like, we are, like, not even halfway there, right? I will say, these, like, the creatures themselves, in it, like, look at them. I will say a lot about these sprites because, like, before it was just, I don't know, like pixel art, right? But then they took the Link's Awakening, or not the Link's Awakening, right? Link Between Worlds approach and chibiized them, and chibiized? Chibi-urized? Something like that. It's just gorgeous. Now, this is the part in the game that actually, like this swamp area, the Gompago swamp, totally lags. For me, at least. I don't know about anyone else. I don't know about the Switch 2. But you know what? I really want to test this. It's gonna be interesting when the Switch 2 comes out. My credit card's gonna hate me. But you know what? Hey, that's fine. I don't care. Money is an illusion. Am I right? But, wow. To think that they also, like, drew out these. I don't think these might actually be test footage areas. Because, like, look, like, they have, like, you know, like, little art pieces over here. And then this is definitely a 3D render, right? Like, you could tell with the shadows casted, you know, this isn't, like, drawn. Like, this is actually in-game. This one, on the other hand, I'm a little iffy. Maybe it's just because it's so small. It's hard to really distinguish, though, with this, because everything's cartoonish. This looks in-game, though, right? I think a lot of the finalized light areas, like that, are very in-game. Overall, just beautiful. And honestly, I wish people had easy access to this and could talk about this a lot more, because game development, man, it just makes me think back to college, right? I really wish my classmates were all into doing the same thing I wanted to do, because it would have been for a great group project. But everyone wanted to do their own thing. Everyone wanted to be, you know, the very best. But, you know, game design is a teamwork thing. And I'm not even working on a game with, I'm working on a game with my friend right now, you know, based on ducks, right? And, you know, it's a good game, but it's not my game. So, but, like, he helped me with mine, now it's my turn with his, that kind of thing. You know, shop is cute, but, like, look at how many renditions of certain things they had to go through in order to get the one they wanted, right? It's a lot of work. And you know what? This has to go through, like, an approval process, too. I think that's, like, the worst part is approval processes, too. But, like, the comparison of old and new, like, this is a collector's edition that, like, if it came to the West, I feel like people would have appreciated this. Western audiences do love game development, don't get me wrong. It's just over here, it's not a 9-to-5 job, right, that you can go to and a company will consistently pay you. It is contract work. For the most part, unless you're fantastic and everyone wants you, it is the worst thing you could get into. And oh yeah, that's right, the owl is back here. But no, it's like one of the worst things you could get into. I never knew that going into high school, and by the time I found out in college, I was already in too deep. So my mom was like, oh, well, just finish school. And I'm like, okay, but then she's like, go for your computer science master's afterwards. I was like, I can't code. I know the basics, but nope. You know what? And it's fun how this takes you through, like, the game. I believe this is the order in which the game happens, too. Which is really nice, and I forgot Goma was in this, or, like, smaller versions of Goma. Now, it's funny, the little, the Canalet Castle sketches. Like, these sketches are really cute. And I'm glad I could show these to you, probably against Nintendo's will. Like, you didn't pay the Arbiter Light for the collector's edition. How dare you show it to other people? You know, it's development. Your games are art and perfect. And look at this. They actually measured the distance, too, that it should have been. Sketches like this are used for, like, you know, how to either... I think it's, like, how to tilt it and, like, how much should be on the screen or how much should tilt. Because if you see where the line is, it kind of meets up right where this is angled. That's what I believe it is. I think I forget what technique it's called. It's a weird technique. It's used mainly for top-down views. I think a lot of trigonometry. I talked about the Steelbook in a previous video as well. I just wanted to point that out. But you know what? I just show you real quick. There you go. Bada bum, bada bing. There we go. Now, back to the book, which has, I guess, just more of the castles. Honestly, it's interesting because, like, take a look at all the sketches. You know, like, they don't have to actually, like, do this, right? Like, they don't have to show us. I think this is one of the most well-done books. I really, really do believe, because, you know, I've gone through a few art books at this point, but, like, this one actually has, like, sketches. It has orthographics. It has in-game, you know, start-to-finish points, right? This is quintessentially a phenomenal, and I mean really phenomenal. Oh my gosh. All right, I really tried changing the light, and it is not going that well. It's phenomenal. There's no other way to do it. I also thought these were babans, but I guess it really is only one Mario enemy per Zelda game. Question mark? But, like, no, because you got the piranha plants over here. So, like, what gives? And, oof. He's a friendly little guy. These are the Pegasus boots, which, again, I guess in the originals, they looked more like this or this versus what we got in the end, which, yeah, this is pretty generic. Wow, though. It's funny to think, I guess, they separate the instruments by where you're supposed to put that, or, like, what order you get them in the game, and then what places you go to because of it. So that's what I'm assuming. I haven't played the Game Boy game in years, and you know what? I would love to play it. Right now, my computer, unfortunately, is a little not so great with recording, we'll say. And we're also, I'm dealing with a lot of personal stuff. For those of you who didn't see on my other channel, grandfather was recently put into hospice, and it just, things happen, you know? Oh, man, now the ocarinas, let me tell you, I don't know why they didn't just give, like, a more Ocarina of Time-looking ocarina. You know, I would have gone for the purple route. Like, they had the chance here to kind of allude to the games to follow, because in the timeline sense, this happens, I believe, before Ocarina of Time. When he gets back to Hyrule, that's when Ocarina of Time's, Link happens next, like, right after him. This is the Link from Link to the Past, and then his next incarnation is Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Hyrule Historia is also in the works for later episodes. I have the Wii U one, and I'll be probably just, you know, doing it digitally and going over I'll probably just do it in silence, honestly. Because these I want to scan, but that's already digitalized, so it's quite alright. And it's so, like, look at this. Like, it's so cute. How they go from this to this to this to this. And you know what? I mean, if Star Fox anything, Nintendo's really good at drawing furries for some reason. Don't take that out of context. But, like, look at this guy. This guy just looks like the best little chef you ever darn seen. Gordon Ramsay be damned. But, like, this art it's so wonderful, and it's, like, timeless, too. You look at things like Wind Waker, right? Like, this is timeless art. I love art that's like this. Like, you could look at this anytime, anywhere, and you can think, yep, no, this makes sense. Now, these are the sketches that really interest me the most, because they went through a lot of design phases, as you can see. Let me hold it closer to the camera, because it's a little hard to see. Very hard, and these finalized sketches finally happened, and bada boom, bada bing. And I wish they did it for all of them. Obviously, the book would be 3 times as big, but you get it for a lot of characters, which is more than most books give. And honestly, then you get to this part of the game and you realize, oh man, it's adorable. These two should really last forever, and then they don't. But like, you know, the little, like, the Octoroks and Link with the swimmies, and this nightmare fuel right here. I will say the Zoros in this as well are very weird, because they're like this crossbreed between, like, I guess, like, the ones from Link to the Past, but then they also look a little, and I mean like a little, like the ones from later games. Like Legend of Zelda, you know, has some of the weirdest species, right? You know, there's no Gorons in this game, but, you know, if they were, I'm pretty sure they would be very weird looking. Just because, not just the chibiness, but, like, I think, like, the Zoros, become the Rito in some instances, or something like that. I don't know, the timeline branches, people and fish and birds, and everyone evolves in some weird way. It's just interesting, right? Because they don't keep it consistent. And, oh man, little anglerfish looking guy. Oh, it is just called anglerfish. I will also note that there's a popular video going around of an anglerfish floating up from the water, and people don't actually know this, but anglerfishes, yeah, they're not that big. They're actually very, very tiny. They're about like the size of like this. Like they're that tiny. Like you could just punch one out. Even if it bit you, like it would kind of just feel like if your cat bit you, right? Like if your cat bit you, or like your little chihuahua or something, it's not that bad. You just rip it off, you squeeze it up on your hands, you're good. But they can't even survive without, like, the harsh conditions of, you know, the underwaterness. Also, I just saw a video today. Apparently, volcano sharks are a thing. Where's that in my next Zelda game? Listen, I see a lot of weird things on my For You page, mainly history, medical stuff, but like this, you know, like, the Zelda stuff is just wild in and of itself because it just breaks all sorts of laws of nature rules. And, whew. So we got Mambo, and we have the Ghost Phantom. Why they chose pink? You know what? I don't know why, but it's a good go for. And, you know what? It's so cute. Like, all of this, like, I love the cute artwork. Like, you have, like, the items, the beads, and such. And you know what? Oh, the mermaid, Serene. She is adorable, you know, like, bottom of my heart kind of cute fish girl thing. Or mermaid, I should say. I've never been a fan of mermaids. They always kind of scared me because the lore with mermaids is actually very dark and twisted. Yeah, that kind of thing, where you get swallowed into the water and they just, you know, eat you. That is the SparkNotes version of mermaids. This is what you subscribe for. Oh, yeah, here's your health tip for today. Salt water is very good for the skin because it has a lot of minerals and such. And it also dries out your skin, but then it also revitalizes it at the same time, giving it those, like, electrolytes it needs. I'm not a doctor, but, you know what, it's funny, like, people are like, oh, what'd you go to, Google University? And I was like, it's the internet, bro. Like, as long as you read and you have a viable source, who gives a crap? You know? But I will continue with this. And you know what, like, the little chairs and stuff, like, these are little details that, yes, people will sketch these out just to, like, kind of get a read of the room, but they're not, like, the most, like, they're not character designs, but yet it's nice to see that they're here. Speaking of character designs, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at little Richard. He is adorable, and why does it, like, he looks like he sounds like Cosmo from, Fairly Odd Parents, you know, and, it just, like, the little eye looking guy, the Kiki, which, correct me if I'm wrong, Kiki is also the name of the monkey in Mario 64. Just Nintendo, like, generically call all monkeys Kiki? Or is that a Japanese thing? I don't think, I haven't done animals yet. I mean, like, I know Neko is cat, but, like, you know, now we're at the castle, and then we have the triangle, you know, good old triangle. And the art is on point. Look at that. Just, it really is. Look at that. Look at that. Ain't that something? This is why I love showing these collector's edition art books. And games, like, they need to be recognized. Like, you go into models, resources, and stuff like that, and sure, you could look at that. But you see the final product. You don't see the beforehand. You know, and games don't keep a lot of their beta content because, you know, obviously it takes up space. You know, like, you have, like, things like Trampling Stew that just get left over in, like, Mario Sunshine. Talk a little too fast. But it's things like this that I think matter the most and deserve whole museums for. You know, if there was a museum where it was just, like, video game art, I would really love that. And I would love to reach out to the Video Game History Foundation, you know, given enough followers and stuff, and kind of, I would donate my stuff. I would donate all of my collection if it meant that I could preserve this. Like, the media is crazy, and also, see, Goombas are in this too, so I think this game was just a weird exception where they were just like, yeah, we'll put more than one Mario enemy in this, but I really would give my entire collection up just for them. Or just for anyone in general, right? Like video games, they need to be preserved in a lot of companies. You know, if you watch my other videos, you know I don't think they do that well. And then you have, like, terrible things like the Heritage, you know, what was it? The Heritage, I think, Foundation or something, or Heritage Auction. And, you know, they just exploited the whole, you know, retro game market. And now we're in, like, a great games depression. Because no one can afford them. No one can afford the game, so what's the point? This thing, gave me nightmares as a kid. Like, just the floor boss. Because I did beat the Game Boy game one back in the day, but it was, and this is, I guess, where Wart went, or Wart goes, because, for those of you who don't know, this is also a dream world, so I guess Wart is an interdimensional being that travels in the dreams of, Nintendo characters, for some reason. And the Cuckoos, or I guess the Flying Roosters, because they're not called Cuckoos in this. Either way, still adorable, and I love how you have the saves, from, obviously, like, Link to the Past, or I guess, Link Between Worlds, which in my opinion, Link Between Worlds really fit a lot better in terms of, like, how it went. I have it on my 3DS. I'd love to back it up. Backing up 3DS save files, though, is a pain. I gotta have someone help me do it. Just because the 3DS, Citra, the whole thing, I really want, digital backups of all my games. Legally speaking. And we got the guy that totally doesn't look like Luigi. Which, man, if these were ever, if this was like Luigi's uncle or something like that, I would just find that so funny. These also look like generic, Mario enemies. And I think Eagle's Tower was the boss rush mode. They added a tower section in Link Between Worlds, which was like a enemy boss rush kind of thing. That was really cool. I really liked it. And you know what? I kind of like that for these kinds of games, right? Because it really is a skill thing, and it just shows that hey, you know what? You got this. And it's not too hard, not too difficult. They give you I think hearts after a certain, if you beat 10 floors or something like that, I think they give you health. So, it's a testament to your strength and how much you can handle. And we're almost done, but there's a lot more to this, and wow, it is unbelievable. Because I remember going on these bridges when I was a kid, close to the end of this mountain range, is something, because this is close to the end, right? But wow. And just thinking, this is a Game Boy game, but, also, gotta love the, I guess, it's an upside-down cross, but, hey, religion aside, Satanism, everyone can agree, is, not the best. I'm not drinking any goat's blood anytime soon, but, I will say, the graphics, I feel like if I got to this point in the game, it would have slowed to a crawl. I think it's also just an amount of, what's rendering on screen, but overall, this game is adorable in every sense of the word. It's... it's just the instruments, the themes, the characters, the cuteness, and then you get to the end, and wow, they actually give you a whole, here, let me just, bump, 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 bump. Yeah. Ooh, mamma mia. But no, it's nice that you go through, all of these little rooms and just, it's so cute. And then you get the final part, and probably the most heartbreaking, because, Link just deserves to be happy. And by the time he's ever happy, he's either dead, or he's got to train the next guy, and he never gets, I don't know, I think Skyward Sword is the only one where he gets the girl and everyone's happy in the end. That's it. There's just some more art, I guess, is a weird way to end it off on, but you know what, hey, I again, all of these sketches. It just really shows that, this is an art book. This really shows, hey, this is what everyone looked like before and after. And, this magic meter, I don't remember what this particularly does. I know she needed a face cream or something, because she had a blemish or something. I think that's what it was. But, she's Crazy Tracy for a reason. And you have, some of the other enemies. And, the Zelda Dungeon Maker in this was pretty good from what I could tell. And people really wanted it. But, they weren't gonna give it to us because, let's face it, it really popularized with Mario. And this is I think this is, the Zelda, Dungeon Maker sketch. That they're oh yeah, we gotta include this. Yeah, no. And then this is just the tiles, the textures, so on and so forth. And finally, the best way to end it is the map of the original game. And that's it. I think this is a wonderful book. And believe it or not, like, this is a good one. This is genuinely good. I hope that you guys, like, you know, if you guys want video formats where I just flip through it, and I don't talk, you know, that's okay. Or you could just mute this video, and just take a look for yourself. Pause if you need to. I just really like talking about games and their art, and I'm just a big old nerd. What can I say? And again, your health tip for today. Salt water is really good for clearing out the skin, you know, gets rid of acne, that kind of thing. So, you know, with summer eventually coming up, you know, take a dip, enjoy it, you know, relish in it. And with that in mind, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye.